President Biden's supporters like to think of him as kind and compassionate. I've heard a lot of talk about empathy, but his handling of Afghanistan has some people wondering if that's really the case. Peggy Noonan, writing in the Wall Street Journal, quote, "The Afghan fiasco will stick to Biden." She says this feels like a blunder than something exposing a less than lovable side to him. I want to bring in Ari Fleischer to talk about this. And Ari, good morning to you. It's a really interesting piece. I know you've seen it yourself. Just for our viewers, I'm just going to read her first line here on camera. August changed things. It wasn't just a bad month. It left a lingering, still head-shaking sense of, quote, "This isn't how we do things," end quote. Then she goes on for 3 pages. Tell us how you viewed her view of that.
You know, I think it raises the fundamental issue that has been on the mind of many people in the election. Was Joe Biden really ready for this job? You know, he was a 40-year senator from the state of Delaware who twice before ran for president of the United States and failed both times miserably. And then when he ran this time against Donald Trump, he ran a strategy of not being seen and not being heard. He ran essentially from the basement and kept all the focus on Donald Trump, not on himself. And now that the spotlight is on him, I'm afraid, Bill, what the American people have really seen in the last month is that his judgment is flawed, his character is flawed, his empathy is overrated. He's half the man we thought he was, and he's probably not prepared for that big job. That's why he was a senator for so long.
Wow, here's one line. Call for one, guys. "The damage to the president is different and deeper than his people think because it hit at his reputational core at how people understand him." Now, you've been in the White House. Yeah. When a perception like that possibly changes, what's the effect of it?
Well, you know, my perception of him really changed, not from what he did in the White House per se, but what he did at Dover Air Force Base and the dignified transfer. When I heard a Gold Star father say that Joe Biden talked more about his son, Beau, than he did about their son, the sons of those who, the parents talking about their sons who were just killed in Afghanistan, it struck me. He talked more about his own son than he did theirs. That is not empathy. I mean, when you're in a situation like that, all you want to do is let that parent talk about their son and be a good listener as the president. He talked about Beau. So I'm struck by so many things. I've always questioned his judgment, but I never questioned his empathy. And I think Peggy Noonan's column got it right about that, and the Gold Star parents got it right.
Yeah, the thing that struck me about the Gold Star parents is that so many of them told the same story about their experience inside that room. Chris Bedford's got a piece in the Federalist, and I know you're paying very close attention to how the media reports in America. Well, here's his headline. The White House hopes we can all forget about Afghanistan and the press will help, okay? Parenthetically, that's this headline. Here's his quote. "The American corporate press isn't broken in the normal sense. It's simply and grotesquely changed. It isn't seeking truth, but views and clicks, and above even that, approval from the right people. Those right people in corporate media and elsewhere want to see this administration get back to the things they elected them to do, and so they're going to, and it's as simple as that." The suggestion there is that they're going to move on. What do you make of it?
He's absolutely right. Look, the White House press corps, I'm sad to say, has become a play-along press corps. You saw that when they didn't even press him on why he kept looking at his watch during that dignified transfer. There was one question to the White House press secretary from Fox News. She didn't answer it, and no other reporters have asked about it since. Amazing to me. Absolutely stunning that the press wouldn't do that. They get it. They know that the agenda that they cover benefits one group or another, one party or another. So what do? They're happy to make the shift to issues that they think will benefit Joe Biden. After giving him tough coverage in Afghanistan, the press is ready to turn the page. Why? Because Joe Biden's ready to turn the page, and they play along. They go along. They really have become a shield for Joe Biden, not a source of information for all of us.
Some suggest that's changed. We'll see in time. Thank you, Ari. Hope you enjoy the long Labor Day weekend. Ari Fleischer with us there.
Thank you, Bill. Same to you. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.